Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the School of Serenity. We are being broadcast by 4MTV and Walk to Serenity, and we are a mental health initiative bringing awareness to the world around different mindfulness and ways of really blending holistic approaches to mental health. So, thank you for joining us today. I am your host, Kara Kihm. I'm a psychotherapist, an author, and a Reiki master, and I have a private practice working with women to blend holistic therapy and energy work. And I'm so excited for our guest today. Thank you for joining us. We have Lisa Jacovsky, and she is a professor and an author. I'm excited to talk about her book series today. And she has specialized in working with children and adults who have autism. So thank you for joining us here, Lisa.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Yes, it's a blessing to have you here. So I would love for you to share about the work that you've been doing. I know you've been in this field for many years and you've been an early intervention specialist with kids who have autism. You've also worked with adults. So can you tell us about this work? Because I think this is a population where not everyone might have a lot of information.
Absolutely. I initially started working in residential group homes as a behavior specialist with adults. And what I would do is I would write behavior plans, train staff, and come in and actually implement the behavior plans with the adults to ensure they were able to meet their goals and decrease the frequency and intensity of their behaviors.
Mm,
I moved into working with kids doing in-home applied behavior analysis, and now I work in early intervention. I'm starting to go more towards teaching, though. But
yes.
with early intervention, I work with little ones under 3 with autism and cognitive delays. And it's a one-to-one therapy where I do more play therapy with them. I do have some little ones with behaviors, but I do put a lot of ABA into it. We work a lot on communication, all those foundational skills that lead to it. A lot of times I say I chase little ones around all day,
Yes.
which is also part of the job. But yeah, I've been doing this for over 8 years now, and it's what inspired my book series.
Yes, which I'm
Yeah.
so excited to talk about because I think
Me
it's
too.
really important for people to know about your series and to have access to it and know where they can find it. So let's talk about autism for
Mhm.
a minute because your book series is
Yeah.
about autism. So what are sort of the hallmark
Mhm.
characteristics, would you say? How might somebody come around to being diagnosed with autism?
Oh, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is communication. If a little one is 18 months and only saying a couple words, that is the first time that they're going to see a sign that something's going on. There
Mm,
are other signs that are going to be not as obvious, like making eye contact, not holding eye contact. Sometimes little ones aren't able to use their fine motors, they're not as strong.
yes.
I've had little ones that struggled to walk at first. So there
Mm,
are multiple signs, but I would say the one that's the biggest one that all my families come to me for is communication. And then from there, I start to discuss the other signs and the other things we're going to work on, like the joint attention,
yes.
holding that eye contact, because that all leads to communication, those foundational skills,
Mhm.
energy. If a child's energy is unbalanced, you're going to be able to feel their energy, and they're also going to have a lot of difficulty sitting, and they're
Right.
going to be all over the place. And you might think they're super hyper or they're just being a little kid, but 9 times out of 10, they have something underlying going on and they need some sensory input. So
Mhm.
there's a couple of things that families can look for, but a lot of times they're really going to come to us for communication issues first.
Yep. Okay. Yes. And so based on this work, you've
Uh-huh.
developed this series of books. And so tell us about the books and how families can benefit from knowing about your series.
Absolutely. My series is called Let's Talk. The first book is a story of autism and friendship, and the
Mm,
second book is Going to the Zoo. Each
mm,
book is, and actually, book 3 comes out in 2 weeks. So,
yeah.
book 3 is called Learning to Bowl. Each one is a different activity, and each one tackles a different social issue.
Uh,
In the first book, yeah,
I love it. So that really helps with these communication skills that we're trying to foster.
it does, because it shows that even if a child cannot speak or is limited in speaking, they have other ways of talking. One of the biggest things about my books is I wanted them to be a resource, not just for children to encourage them, but for families. My
Yes.
families come to me and are like, oh my God, he's almost 3 or she's almost 3, and they're not talking. They might have apraxia, they might have a significant cognitive delay, but they don't have to talk verbally to talk. There's
Yes.
picture exchange communication systems, and I use one of my books through index cards where one of the main characters that has autism points to it to show what she wants to communicate. So it's my way of showing families all these different things. And it's also a great way to show families that autism is not limiting. The
Right.
little one can go to the pool. They can learn to swim. They can go to the zoo successfully. They can learn to bowl. They can do these things. They're only limited by the family. And that's what I tell the families I work with all the time. Even when I had my in-person class I was teaching this spring, I talked to my students about it too.
Yes.
So my books are really to be a resource to show families these different things.
Yes.
In book 2, we tackle bullying. So
Mm.
there's that component of inspiring children and showing them, hey, there's beauty in autism, but there's also these different things in it that adults can relate to and can actually learn from as well.
Yes. Yes. We're all so unique and we're all so beautiful at the same time. And we have these unique qualities and characteristics, all of us, and children with autism to be celebrated for their uniqueness and their difference.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
you have a third book coming
Yeah.
to be launched. And so
I'm so
tell us
excited.
about, yeah, when is that being released?
So that's coming out in 2 weeks. You can see it between July 15th and July 20th. Everything is approved. I'm just waiting on the layout and the cover. I
Okay.
should get that by the end of the week. It's called Learning to Bowl.
Mhm.
And in it, we tackle the idea of wearing a mask during the pandemic,
Right.
because that was a very big sensory issue, not just for children, but for all of us.
Yes.
If you can
Yes.
imagine how hard it was for us breathing through a mask, what about a child that doesn't fully understand why they have to wear it
Right.
and wants to take it off all the time? I got the question all the time when we went back to in person, can you help my child wear a mask for daycare?
Mm.
All the time, and that's controversial in itself. So
It is. It is. And I mean, my daughter, who is now 7, they
yeah,
were masking this year. And I mean, she had a very, very hard time with it.
exactly,
I mean, she's 6 years old, she is in first grade, and it was hard. And in fact, when they were
exactly.
masking was when the whole class got COVID and all the parents did, and we all
Oh,
just did this whole
oh
COVID
my
break.
god.
It is so hard, I think, for
Yeah,
all children to wear a
I
mask.
agree.
You know,
And imagine,
it's just a challenge. I mean, we can
yeah.
it as a challenge. And so I can only imagine children with these
Mhm.
sensory concerns, it's going to be even more heightened.
Exactly. And with autism, the understanding isn't fully there, like with a
Right.
typical child.
Yeah.
So, I had my character, she's 7, receptively, she can understand everything you say, but that doesn't mean she can understand all actions that we do. So,
Mhm.
she's learning to bowl, but she has issues in the book and she has issues wearing the mask. And
Right.
it very much goes back to my experience, because imagine a 2.5-year-old. I'm working with 2 and
Yes.
2.5-year-olds, and they're asking me to have them wear a mask. It's
Right.
very similar to her at 7 years old, not being able to understand that. So
Mhm.
it's very, very fun. It's very interesting. I introduce a new character that's a different ethnicity as well. So
Yeah.
that's pretty fun and amazing. I love showing
Mhm.
culture in my books, and very,
Beautiful.
very excited. The illustrations are very vibrant, beautiful. I am so excited. The illustrations, the coloring is probably my favorite out of all 3 books.
Oh,
So
I love
yeah, I'm
yes.
super, super excited. The colors just pop off the page. So I'm
Yes.
very excited for everybody to see it.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's coming out in 2
Thank
weeks.
you.
Amazing. And so share with our audience, where can people find your books?
Absolutely. My books are available on Amazon. They are also available at any online retail store. I also just got them into Linda's Creative Gifts, a physical store in New Providence. They are going to be on sale in the physical bookstore called Word Bookstore in Jersey City as of Saturday. And I am also in discussions with Hidden Gems bookstore in New Brunswick to put it there. So there are actual physical stores. There are
Great.
also libraries. You can check out my books in soon to be Monroe, in Milltown, I think also Perth Amboy, Hickory Corner Branch, Ewing Library, hopefully soon North Brunswick, my hometown, and East Brunswick. You can also contact me. I do have an Etsy shop, or you can go through my website, contact me through email. I will ship them out to you, sign them, and if you buy it from me, you always get a free gift. So lots of choices. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. And I
Thank
love
you.
how you're bringing this education and awareness to the
you.
world. I mean, it's just what a gift for parents.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. We need more positivity out there. I really enjoy working with autism, even though I'm switching more to teaching. It's been such a blessing. It's been so much fun. And when I worked with adults, I took them everywhere.
Oh, I
So
know.
I want people to be able to do that too with their kids.
Yes, yes, to not have a limited life.
Yeah,
Sure,
exactly.
and it can look more expansive than maybe some people might believe.
Exactly. Little ones, even adults with autism, they can do anything and everything that other children can. They may do it differently, but being different is okay. If you pick up book two, you find out how different can be okay and fun and silly it can be,
Yes.
and that's really the beauty that is autism. It's just a
Mhm.
different way to learn. That's it.
Beautiful,
Thank
beautiful,
you.
and an inspirational message. I mean,
Oh,
that's
thank you.
I feel like you're bringing hope because it's
Oh, thank
important to have hope and to know
you.
kids can do everything other kids can do. It's just going to look
Yeah.
different. But that brings hope, instead of
Thank
focusing on
you.
the limitations, focusing on no, they can do anything else, kids with these who have special, unique needs. It's just going to look differently. And I think that's what's
Exactly.
important to focus on.
Thank you. That's exactly the message I'm trying to bring out there. There's a whole world out there of people doing the same thing. And, I know we're going to talk about a podcast at some point, but that's where that comes from
Yeah,
too. And, it's so exciting. There's going to be 6 books in the Let's Talk series. And I
yeah.
also have a new series that's going to be companion to Let's Talk. I'm just starting to talk about it now, called Happy Thoughts. So I think this is the second time I'm talking about it. So it's very special.
Oh,
And that's going to be from Emma's point of view.
oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're on fire with your creativity.
Thank
So
you.
let's talk about the podcast. You also have
Yeah,
a podcast.
I
Share
do.
with your audience about your podcast and what messages you aim to share.
My podcast is called No Limits with Lisa Jacovsky. It can be found everywhere: Apple, iHeart. I share it all over my social media with a free link as well from Spreaker. So I interview and highlight individuals and organizations making a difference. And
Mm,
I also have some episodes on there about different things with autism and psychology.
mm.
It comes out every 2 weeks. There's a new episode coming out Thursday. I'm very
Oh,
excited.
sweet. What kind
It's an amazing interview with a special education teacher who is really awesome, talking about his experience. So, I interview these amazing people. There's an amazing group of authors, of organizations out there. I've been out since September. Please go check it out. You might find your new favorite books. You might
yes.
find your new favorite author, your new organization you can put your little one into.
Right.
So it's been absolutely incredible. It's very, very special.
Mm.
And it's opened so many doors to meeting such amazing people. I've made incredible friends through it, and
Yes.
it's been a ride. I've got
Yes.
a line of interviews to do, and it's for episodes till January. So
Wow, that's
yeah,
incredible. That's what I found through doing these shows. You meet the most interesting people.
Right?
And then you become friends with them. And
Yeah,
really these beautiful connections that unfold from
exactly.
hosting a show and meeting people. And it just seems to happen so organically that the right people
Yeah.
cross your path. And then all of a sudden you're diving into these beautiful topics with them.
Right, and it's amazing to see that there's so many people out there that have ideas for books, have ideas for organizations that are making a difference.
Yes.
I never knew that there were books out there like mine, and I Google and look like there's nothing there. But then I interviewed an author who is a teacher and uses her special education teaching experience in her books, which was so incredible.
Mm.
It's the first time I met anybody like that. She works with adults too. And that was such a special episode, and to have these amazing people come on, have people reach out to me and want to come on,
Yes.
to meet these people who write these books and have these organizations. It's so special. It's such a blessing. And I personally would not have known about any of these people or books or own their books if it
Yes.
weren't for my podcast. I
Yeah.
really wouldn't.
Yes.
And like I have a huge library now too.
Yes. And I mean, more resources, right? I mean,
Yeah,
an abundance of resources
exactly.
during these shows. And I love the title. I love it.
Thank you.
No
Yep,
limits. Think about that. I mean, if we all could step into that energy and really believe that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's why I named it that, and when I finally incorporate my books and podcasts, that's what my company is gonna be because that's how I was raised. I
Mm.
was taught to be open to anybody and everybody, have no limits, and always believe, and that's really the energy I wanna put out in this world. That's what I want our children to grow up knowing, so they become the adults that have these positive thoughts in their head, and we change this world little by little because
Yes.
it's so necessary, and having all these people out there doing this, they need to be highlighted. We need to get more positivity out there. And to be able to do it with my podcast, it's so special. I never thought I would do this, but
Mm.
I would not change a thing about it. I'm so grateful for every opportunity that comes my way.
Yeah. It's amazing how things just evolve and align
Yeah.
on these paths. And it's really a beautiful unfolding. When we believe there are no limits, I
Yeah.
feel like that's when things become more possible.
Exactly. And that's what we really need out in the world more,
Yeah.
especially in this time right now, with everything that's going on internationally with what happened with 4th of July. We need to come together. We need to get more positivity out there and we need to start making that positive change. We can't keep going forward with things the way they are. We need to change our views and we need to be more open to things. And that's really how we're going to stop things like what happened yesterday in Chicago or Illinois. How we're going to stop things like that is really getting more positivity out there, addressing these issues. And,
Yes.
it's going to be a better world down the road.
It will. And I'm so embarrassed to admit this, but I've not been watching the news or been on TV. I don't even know what happened yesterday. So what?
There was a mass shooting at a city outside Chicago during a parade, unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So just taking a minute to honor all of those who
Yeah.
were
I
affected
agree.
and such.
Blessings to the family and just
Mm.
prayers to them to get through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I missed that. I mean, I can because I've not home and I haven't been on technology, but yeah.
Mm,
Wow. And how our world needs these messages more
I
than ever,
agree.
because especially the mass shootings, they're so close together now. They're back to back to back. And it's just becoming so rampant. So that's a whole nother podcast that
I
we
know.
right. I mean, really, because I want people to bring awareness to that too.
I agree completely. And that's why we really need to focus on the good and the positive in this world and not just focus on it, but expand it.
Planned it.
Stop having our minds be like this and have our minds be like that. Because when we're like this, there's just so much good, there's so much positive. And when we're like this, so much negative happens. So
Mhm.
we really need to just get the positive out there, get the resources out there,
Yeah.
and it can be a better world down the road.
It can. And to bring mental health awareness. I mean, I feel like that's a
Yes.
huge piece of this too. And with the mass
Yes.
shootings is mental health awareness.
Exactly. I agree completely because that goes along with autism. When I worked with adults, they were dual disorders. They
Yes.
had the
Yes.
mental health component on top of autism.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. That's why your work is so important. Yes.
Thank you.
Experience and you've been in the field where this is
Yep.
something that you know well. And so now you're also a professor. And tell
Yes.
us, what are you doing as a professor?
So I'm teaching psychology. I got my first class in January. It was psychology of personality, and it was amazing. I
Wow.
am currently teaching an online class, lifespan development. It ends on Thursday, and it's also been amazing. So I'm super excited to get my assignments for the fall.
Mm,
And I'm hoping to kind of transition out of working in the field to working in the classroom and inspiring more students to go into this field, to keep going past their associate's degree and get their master's and bachelor's and be that change in this world too. So
mm.
it's been really, really fun. I'm very excited about it.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I
Thank
love that.
you.
And I feel like you're similar to me where there are just so many points of interest and so many.
Yeah,
Yes, I love working in all these different arenas. You're
exactly.
multifaceted in that way because it's like, I want to be a therapist and I want to be an author and I want to be a Reiki master and
Right?
bringing all of that knowledge to all the different roles that we play.
Exactly, and it's so much fun. I feel like that's the best part about psychology is that you're not pigeonholed. You can
Yes.
be creative. You can do this, you can do that. There's so many different things you can try out to see what you like best and you can expand your career and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love psychology and I'm really grateful every single day. I say how grateful I am for my career and where I am and, it's been a real blessing, and I'm super excited to see how it continues to grow and to kind of start to see, where those students go if they come back to my classes. If,
Mhm.
I hear their name in the future of what they're doing, maybe they'll work on research with me in the future.
Yes.
So it's very exciting and it's very, very special.
Yes, yes, yes. We never know how things will unfold and how the different paths will sort of cross in the future. And that's the beauty of the
Yeah.
world is just amazing synchronicities happen. And yeah, you never know how you might collaborate in the future with one of them.
Exactly. It would be really fun. They're incredibly smart. I really enjoy reading the papers and, going back and forth in email. And I provide a lot of reinforcement because it's really nice to see them improve too and really take to heart the kind of suggestions I put in. So it's been very, very cool. Very, very, very fun.
Yeah, yeah. And just how we're evolving. I was in grad school in 2005. I was getting my master's and I had to write this very lengthy, in-depth paper on autism.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so thinking about from 2005 what the research was and what I was writing about
Yeah,
then to now, I mean, we're just evolving so
exactly.
much. So what your students know now that I mean wasn't even around when I was,
Yeah.
gosh, how long ago was that? Decades ago.
Oh my gosh, I know. Some things I talked about with them in the classroom during the spring, they're like, "We don't know who that is." Like,
Yeah.
Fergie, the Duchess of York, read book 1 on her YouTube channel, and I got so excited because they know about my book, and I told them, and they're like, "Who's Fergie?" I was like, "Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh."
gosh. First of
I
all,
had
incredible.
oh, thank
Congratulations.
you.
How amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
It just made me feel old too, like, telling them, but yeah, it was really, really cool. She's so sweet. The
Wow.
way she read it was so, so incredibly sweet. If anybody wants to check it out, it's on my website and it's pinned on my Facebook page.
Yes.
But yeah, Fergie, the Duchess of York, read it, and it's one of the coolest and sweetest videos. So if
Oh
you
my
want a free
gosh.
look, you get a free reading there.
I'm definitely gonna watch that. That's amazing. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. How did she find out about your book series?
It's so funny because another author told me through my podcast. I interviewed Jacovsky, who is the author of the Bentley the Hippo series, which is also incredible. So please check those out, all about
Okay.
disabilities.
Yes.
And Bentley the Hippo is just hilarious and adorable. But she told me about how to get in touch with her. So I sent it in maybe around November,
Mhm.
and I sent in both books. And 5 months later, her assistant contacted me and told me it was going to be read in April for Autism Awareness Month.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That really is
So
amazing.
incredible, and I've literally just like it's still very surreal. I'm still on like cloud 9 about it, and I'm
Yes.
gonna submit book 3 to see if she wants to read that as well. So
Mhm.
it's pretty amazing.
That is. Oh,
Yeah.
that's neat. But yeah, it's funny when the students have no idea what you're talking about. You're like,
Yeah, I had to say, "Oh, do you know Prince Harry and Meghan Markle?" And they were like, "Yeah." I'm like, "They're cousin."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
She
one
used
of
to
the
be
other
in the
royals.
spotlight more, right? Yeah, 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 yeah.
So funny.
No, I know, I know. It's like we're getting old, but that's okay. I love
Yeah,
it. I love aging. Maybe, the younger generation doesn't know what I'm talking about, but I
I
just
know.
feel, I mean, I don't know if you feel this, but each decade I
Yeah.
feel more passionate about my career and
Yes,
more aligned with my message and more clear
I
on who I'm
agree.
serving and what I'm bringing to the world. I'm sure you feel that way too.
Oh my God, 100%. I was having this conversation the other day as well, and, as much as it was easier when I was younger in undergrad,
Yeah,
I wouldn't go back to that
me
for
either.
anything because
Yep.
I love where I am. I
Yes.
love how hard I've worked and I love where my career is going. And I would not trade any of it for the world.
Yes.
Age is
Yes.
just a number.
Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree. And, I'm in my 40s. I feel like the 50s is going to be even better. The 60s,
Right?
we're ascending from here. Like each decade brings new promise and new possibilities. And there's just so much to do in this one life.
Exactly.
We're on the path of sort of this field of psychology. I just feel like
Yeah,
there's so much to do. And
I
each
agree.
decade is going to bring new possibilities and opportunities there.
Exactly. And I think that's really the good thing about embracing age is, being happy and excited about where you are. Like I'm not super excited about my birthday in October to get another year older, but at the same time, I'm super excited about where I'm going and I'm content and happy with where I am in life. And, whatever. I'll be happy when my birthday comes anyway, is like usual.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I know. And that's what I want to tell these younger people because people are like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm turning 30. I'm like, it gets so much better.
it does.
It only gets
It
better. It only
does.
gets
It
better.
really does. And I have an episode on my podcast too where I talk about that. I think it's the second episode where I talk about, my career. And I remember being that 22, 23-year-old sitting in the daycare, watching my friends, from high school on Facebook go get their masters, finish their masters, start their career. I started my career later in my late 20s.
Yeah.
And, where I am, not to like knock everyone who I grew up with, but I'm a lot farther and
Mm,
doing a lot more of my career, and everyone's path is different. And when you get there, and it's
yes.
not the road that matters, it's the end goal.
Yeah.
So I talk about that on my podcast too. And I try to remember, I even do that as a professor, try to remember myself sitting there where these students are,
Yes. Yes.
and be who I wanted the professor to be while they
Yes.
were sitting there. So I
Absolutely.
try to always make sure I remember where I came from.
Yes, absolutely. And when you love your career so much, that's
Yeah,
being in alignment with your soul purpose. Like I believe we all have a
exactly.
soul purpose. We all have a reason we're here. And like finding that alignment allows you to be doing the work that you are now.
Exactly. I agree completely. And it really is a blessing. I never thought I would become an author.
Ah,
'Cause you
yeah.
always hear like it's so hard to make money, it's so hard to do this. And sitting here, I'm got my third book coming out. I've got two more books coming out later this year.
Amazing.
It's just one after another. I just got an email that I'm gonna be featured in the New Jersey Department of Education newsletter. I
Ah,
was just like, oh my God, like
amazing.
so
Amazing.
everything is just like, and I'm here. Like it's just,
Yes.
I never thought any of this would happen. So
Yep.
it's very surreal. And like I've said, I'm just grateful But
Yes.
anything you dream can happen.
Yes, 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 yes. I have a quote in my book. It says, when trusting my intuition and following the divine, I learned that nothing is out of reach, but you have to do the reaching.
I love that. I agree. Like the quote, work hard pays off. Hard work pays off. It really is 100% true. And I love your quote. Oh my God, that's
Yes,
incredible. It's
thank
so
you.
true. If you want it, go achieve it. You
Go
can
achieve
do
it.
it.
You
You
can do
really, you
it.
can't
No
sit
limits.
around. Just, yeah.
No limits. No
Exactly. No limits. If you want to go do this, but also be an author, go find a way to make it work.
limits.
There's a way to do
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly. Yes. And no limits for all people. Like all people standing
Exactly.
in their power and stepping into their unique souls who they came here to be.
Exactly. They can do it just like we can. I even have on my podcast two individuals with autism. One has his own podcast and one is an author at
Ah,
17 years old.
beautiful. Beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
Lisa, how beautiful.
It's
How
incredible. I have another child author I interviewed already, and I have another one that I'm going to interview later this year. So,
amazing.
anything, you can do anything.
Yes. Well, and I was going to say our time went by so quickly
I
with
know.
the parting message, but I mean, that was a really
That's
good
it.
one.
That's literally it. You can do anything you want. Absolutely.
It's about. Literally, it is about following my intuition. And when I did,
Exactly.
all the doors of possibility opened up to me because I aligned with
Exactly.
what I'm here to do. Yes, I love that as the parting message. You can do anything.
Exactly.
So make sure to connect with Lisa and so they can find you on Instagram. What are you?
Yes. It's Books by Lisa Jacovsky. I am very interactive. You can message me, follow me, comments. Please come interact with me. I love talking to people.
Yes.
I tell the families all the time when I do events and story times, oh, I've got story times coming up. Please come follow me. Please come out and, hear a free reading of one or both of my books. We do a free craft. There's free homemade crayons and a giveaway. So please check out my Instagram. I got all kinds of fun new things coming up. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. And come follow along with me at my karakihm.com. So KaraKihm.com. And this show will be on my website and it will also be on my podcast. And then you can see all the shows that have been done before.
Oh,
And if women are seeking to do empowerment work, there's a free 15-minute consultation and there's a link in my bio so people can connect with me. So we love being here and we love sharing resources with people. So make sure to connect with us and find us and let us
please do.
share any information we both might have with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Oh, it's
This
been
was
so
fun.
lovely to connect with you. It's been such a gift. And thank you for sharing all of your wisdom and your
Absolutely.
series and your just divine guidance with the world.
Thank you. You as well. The work that you do is amazing too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.